Did you know that your $150 Woolworths shop is about to become $220 for the exact same items? And it's happening in just 10 days, depending on when you see this video. I'm not talking about some distant economic theory here. Yesterday, I watched a bloke at the Parramatta Woolies stare at his receipt in complete disbelief. This butter used to be $7, he told the checkout operator. Now it's nearly $9 in 1 week. But here's the terrifying part. That butter price jump? It's nothing compared to what's hitting February 1st. I've just spent 72 hours calling Woolworths store managers across 6 states, and what they told me off the record will make your jaw drop. Head office has quietly sent out internal memos warning about significant price adjustments on specific imported items. We're talking 25% to 50% increases on everyday essentials you buy every month. Item number 7 on my list has already disappeared from 3 Woolworths locations I checked yesterday. Gone. And number 4, it jumped 40% in price at the Chatswood store last Tuesday. Smart Woolies shoppers are already clearing out entire sections. The woman behind me in line had 6 bottles of the same item. When I asked why, she said, "My mate works in supply chain. She told me to buy everything I can before January ends." You've got exactly 10 days left to beat the biggest price surge we've seen since 2020. These 10 foods I'm about to show you aren't just going up in price. Some are facing complete shortages. Let's jump in before it's too late. Item 1. Extra virgin olive oil. Last Thursday, I'm standing in the Woolies aisle in Bondi, and this lady next to me is loading her trolley with 4 bottles of Cobram Estate olive oil. She turns to me and says, "My cousin works at the import warehouse. She told me something crazy is coming." Here's the reality. Spain and Italy, where most of our imported olive oil comes from, have had devastating droughts for 3 years running. Mediterranean olive oil production has dropped 40% since 2022. Right now, you can grab a 750 ml bottle of decent extra virgin olive oil for around $12.15. But I'm seeing reports from shoppers in Sydney where the same bottles have already jumped to $18 to $20. Olive oil prices have already gone up 50% globally this year, and Australian-made options like Cobram Estate, they can't keep up with demand when imports dry up. The worst of the supply crisis hasn't fully hit Australian shelves yet. You've got maybe 3 weeks to stock up before the real shock arrives. Olive oil stored in a cool, dark place lasts 18 months easy. Buying now saves you potentially $50, $80 over the next year. Item 2. Coffee, all varieties. Last weekend, I'm grabbing my usual Lavazza beans at Woolies. The ones that used to be around $18, the price tag nearly knocked me over. $26. That's a 45% increase in 6 months. A Woolworths team leader I know pulled me aside and whispered, "We're already getting notices from head office about coffee supply issues." Brazil and Vietnam supply most of the world's coffee beans. Brazil's had back-to-back droughts destroying crops. Vietnam's had flooding. The global coffee harvest is down significantly, and Australia imports almost all of its coffee. I drove to 3 different Woolies stores last Sunday. 2 of them had noticeably empty shelves in the coffee section. My barista mate Amanda told me her cafe's wholesale supplier warned that they might need to raise prices to $7 to $8 for a basic coffee by spring. Making coffee at home with Woolies beans costs about 50 cents per cup. I grabbed 4 bags of different varieties last week. Lavazza, Vittoria, and some Nescafe instant for emergencies. At current prices, that's 3 months of coffee security for about $80. Compare that to what I'll probably pay in October, and I'm saving myself at least $60. Item 3. Vanilla extract. My friend Lisa runs a home baking business. Last month, she goes to reorder her usual vanilla extract, and her supplier drops a bombshell. "We can't guarantee vanilla availability after January, and if we get it, prices are doubling." Madagascar produces 80% of the world's vanilla beans. That tiny island nation has been hit by cyclones, political instability, and crop theft. Each vanilla flower has to be hand-pollinated. A professional baker from Brisbane told me her commercial supplier warned that pure vanilla extract could hit $80 per bottle by February. Right now, Queen Vanilla at Woolies is sitting at around 12 tiles of 15s for a decent size. Here's what most people don't know. Real vanilla extract actually improves with age, like fine wine. The alcohol content preserves it indefinitely. During the last vanilla shortage, I watched home bakers diluting their good vanilla with imitation stuff just to make it last. Store it in a dark cupboard away from heat and you're set for years. Item 4. Honey, especially Australian varieties. My neighbour Jake loves his honey on toast every morning. Last month, he runs out and drives to Woolies. Comes back, confused and frustrated. They wanted $14 for a jar that used to be $8. Here's what's happening to Australian honey. The Varroa mite, this tiny parasite that destroys bee colonies, was detected in Australia in 2022, for the first time ever. We were the last continent without it. Since then, millions of bees have been destroyed trying to contain the outbreak. Australian honey production has dropped significantly. Australia used to export honey. Now we're looking at potentially importing it. My mate Thomas, who keeps bees, put it bluntly. Australian honey is about to become a luxury product. The industry is in crisis. Real honey literally never goes bad, ever. Archaeologists found 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs, and it was still perfectly edible. Buying 2 big jars now at current prices saves you probably $30, $40 compared to what you'll pay by Christmas. Item 5. Nuts, especially almonds and macadamias. I'm standing in the Woolworths nut aisle, reaching for my usual bag of natural almonds. The ones that used to be around $12, I see $17 on the price tag. I literally thought it was a mistake. California, where most of the world's almonds come from, has been hammered by drought for years. Australian almond production can't keep up with demand. And macadamias? Australia grows most of the world's macadamias, but floods and labour shortages have smashed production. Shipping costs from the US have increased. Australian farming costs have gone up. Global demand for healthy snacks has exploded since the pandemic. My PT Mike dropped some knowledge that changed my perspective. When meat prices go crazy, nuts become your backup protein source. One handful of mixed nuts packs 6 to 8 grams of protein and healthy fats that keep you full. You can freeze nuts. They'll stay fresh for over a year, and you just take out what you need. It's like having a protein bank in your freezer. I grabbed 3 large bags last weekend. Item 6. Canned tuna and salmon. My mate Mark is a fisherman up in Queensland, and last week he told me something that made my jaw drop. The tuna situation is about to get ugly. Most people have no idea what's coming. Those innocent-looking John West tuna cans at Woolworths. The fish often comes from Thailand, the Philippines, and the Pacific Islands. Global tuna stocks are under serious pressure. I checked my receipts. 6 months ago, a 4-pack of tuna was around $8. Last week, $11, $50. Mark told me commercial fishing quotas are getting tighter every year due to overfishing concerns. We're catching less fish, fuel costs more, and demand keeps rising. Perfect storm, mate. During 2020, when fresh meat disappeared from shelves, canned tuna became gold. My neighbour Joe was almost trading tuna cans for toilet paper with other families. Each can has enough protein for a full meal. Costs? About $2.50 now, but could easily hit $4, $4, and $5 if supply issues combine with demand. Buy different varieties. Tuna in spring water, in oil, flavoured varieties. Store them in a cool, dry place, and they're good for 3 to 5 years. Item 7. Rice. All varieties. I'm at Woolies grabbing my usual sunrise bag. The 5 kilo one that feeds my family for a month. Used to be around $12. I look at the price tag. $18. I actually said out loud, "You're joking." India, the world's biggest rice exporter, banned most rice exports in 2023 to protect domestic supply. That ban is still largely in place. Pakistan and Thailand have had weather disasters affecting crops. Vietnam has been limiting exports too. Australia grows rice in the riverina region of New South Wales, but drought has slashed water allocations. Farmers are switching to other crops because they literally can't get enough water to grow rice. My friend in agricultural supply told me something chilling. Australian rice production is a fraction of what it used to be. We're more dependent on imports than ever, right when global supply is tightest. Stored properly in a cool, dry place, white rice lasts basically forever. 10 years, 20 years, longer. I grabbed 3 5-kilo bags last weekend. That's probably 6 months of rice for my family, locked in at today's prices. Item 8. Butter and dairy products. My friend Rachel grabs her usual Western Star butter, gets to self-checkout, and the total seems high. She checks the receipt. $7.80 for butter. In 1 week, she told me. 1 week, it jumped almost $2. Australian dairy farmers have been leaving the industry for years. Milk production is down. When there's less milk, butter is one of the first products to get expensive because it takes a lot of milk to make butter. My friend Susan runs a small cake business. During the 2022 dairy price spike, she was paying $10 for butter that used to cost $5. She almost had to close. You can freeze butter for 6 to 12 months without affecting quality. Buy extra now, freeze it in portions, and defrost what you need. My neighbor Jennifer bought 6 blocks last weekend. I calculated our family's butter usage, she said. At current prices, I'm saving $30 over 6 months compared to what I'll probably pay by Christmas. Divide butter into smaller portions before freezing. Wrap in plastic, label with dates, and rotate stock. Item 9. Avocados. Queensland and northern Nest dollars, where most of our avocados come from, have been smashed by floods and cyclones. The 2024 season was a disaster. Trees damaged, fruit lost, farms struggling to recover. Avocado trees take years to mature and produce fruit. You can't just quickly grow more when supply drops. My mate Carlos works in produce at the markets. Avocado pricing is already getting weird, he said. Suppliers are raising prices constantly because they know there's not enough to go around. Some Woolworths stores have been limiting how many avocados you can buy. Buy them at different ripeness stages. Some rock hard for next week, some ready for today. Store the hard ones in the fridge to slow ripening. Item 10. Imported chocolate cocoa prices have absolutely exploded globally. We're talking 200-300% increases in raw cocoa bean prices compared to 2 years ago. West Africa, Ivory Coast, and Ghana produces most of the world's cocoa. They've been hit by disease, bad weather, and farmers switching to more profitable crops. Lindt blocks that were $5 are now $7, $10, or $8. Cadbury family blocks have gone from $5 to $7, and it's only going to get worse. My friend Jennifer's supplier warned that chocolate prices will keep rising through 2025. The cocoa shortage isn't ending anytime soon. Chocolate loves cool, dry, dark places. Store it properly, and it lasts ages. You're securing all your chocolate needs at pre-inflation prices. Closing. Look, 3 months from now, you're going to be one of 2 people. Either you're the person standing in Woolworths paying $20 for olive oil, shaking your head and saying, "I wish someone had warned me." Or you're the smart one with a fully stocked pantry, saving hundreds while everyone else panics. I've given you the roadmap. The question is, will you use it? If this video just saved your family $200 or more, smash that like button. It literally takes 1 second and helps other Aussie families find this before it's too late. Subscribe for next week's video, where I reveal the 5 Woolworths items that are actually getting cheaper. And trust me, number 2 will shock you. Drop a comment and tell me which item you're grabbing first. Are you team coffee or team olive oil? I read every single comment because we're building a community of smart shoppers who refuse to let inflation win. Remember, being prepared isn't about fear. It's about being smart. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today.